What's going on, 49er Faithful, 49er fam, 49er gang? This is your boy, Niner Gang Podcast, back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can get you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it, man. We're back. Football is back. We're all hyped. Everybody is happy. I mean, we've been waiting for this since February. You know what I'm saying? And it's time, man. You know, the greatest announcement that could have ever been made is that it is now Trey's time. I love it. I love every second of it, man. So for me to go ahead and start the season off, I'm going to bring along, some family here. They have their own podcast, the 49er Faithfullee podcast. I'm going to bring in Teran and Miriah. What's going on? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, fam?
Man, good. They had me on their show. It's only right I return the favor, man. It's definitely a continuance of growth for both of our platforms. You know, we all happy, man. And yes, I'm gonna put this joint up right here. Yes. Believe me, man. Now when he's like really gone. Like officially, I'm going live immediately. Now, the other thing is, so like this is just good news, period, for us. Football is back. Let's start there. So on top of the fact of football being back, the other thing that's happening is the fact that we already have D Ford cut, which he should have been cut a long time ago, but we finally cut his ass too. So it's so great when like when the weight gets lifted off your shoulders, you just feel different. It's like paying a bill that was like just dragging on forever, and you just had to keep paying it little by little, bit by bit. You don't want to, you don't have the money to pay it all off, and then it's that one moment where you get that final bill and you're like, I don't have to deal with this shit no more. It look and see, that's Teran. Teran got the right smile.
I do, man.
He got the pearly whites all out there, man. But yeah, man, I appreciate everyone that's tuning in right now. Definitely, man, it's a beautiful thing for us when it comes to just the off season and everything that's been going on. I finally got the other okay. See, I got 3 of them. I got the other okay that I wanted. Kyle. He finally did it. It took him long enough, but he finally did it. The person that's on Miriah's shirt, that young man, that's the man. These words are from Kyle's mouth. So I don't want to hear nothing in the media. I don't want to hear nobody talking about nothing. And, we're not sure if they're going to keep him. And, all I'm doing is keeping the receipts on all of y'all that said this was the wrong move. Shannon Sharp this morning, running your mouth. Over here, well, Skip, I would have kept Jimmy Garoppolo, because I don't what I saw from Lance, he wasn't ready. I watched Patrick Mahomes, and I love me some Mahomes, and Mahomes, he did great. So I was sold on him, but there was more information on Trey Lance, and I still didn't like what I saw. So I would have kept Jimmy because you was winning with Jimmy. Shannon, really? So you had a game from Patrick Mahomes, and I don't even think he threw a TDA. I think he was just in there. And that one game showed you everything you need to see. But Trey Lance played at least about 2.5 games, roughly. I would say that because he had to do cleanup duty for Jimmy versus Seattle when Jimmy couldn't find a way to execute on any of the 5 freaking turnovers that we got him. And he came in and did cleanup duty purpose greatly in that. Hey, what's going on? Peachy in the house. 49 Lakers for life. My boy Brandon in the house. Everybody in there hanging out with us. But I digress. Either way, those 3 things have made my day. Football being back, Jimmy being gone, D Ford being cut. Like, this day can't get any better. You know what I'm saying? Outside of being home with my wife, who I love dearly, and at the same time hanging out with y'all, man. And then I get to see y'all in Vegas. Are you gonna be there, right, Miriah?
Yeah, of course.
Oh shit, man, we really gonna have a good damn time. What? Y'all don't know. I ain't never did New Year's in Vegas, but hey, first time for everything, right?
Yeah.
But man, um, what are you guys' thoughts on this off season? You know, I'll kick it over to Teran real quick. What do y'all think, man? It's been very tumultuous to say the least.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for sure. You know what I'm saying? And just to shout you out, Dion, because I heard you a couple of times on Spaces. I heard you, a couple of shows and stuff, and you were getting so irritated, which I don't blame you because Kyle wouldn't commit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just come out and say, "Hey, Trey is our starting quarterback." And I heard some people with some clap back, like, "Oh, well, Kyle doesn't have to," and blah blah blah. But I'm like, look, if they were to ask him who's your starting left tackle, he gonna answer that. Who's your starting center? You're going to answer that. So why can't you do it for the quarterback position? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I get upset about. It's like, they kind of pick and choose who they want to speak on and stuff. But you're right. It's finally over. We're done. I feel like, there was some ups and downs with me because I was questioning some of the draft picks because I was, to me and Miriah have been preaching this on our show for months. Like, the most important position on this team is the quarterback. And I felt like they didn't do enough at first to protect him. We're looking at maybe possibly starting 3 new offensive linemen. And I was listening to Grant and Jesse, and the most important thing, and I think you play football too, Dion, on that offensive line. That's the most on any position group that you got to have that continuity. They have to
Yes,
know
that
they have to
continuity
have so much
must
continuity
exist.
because I
Yes,
know
sir.
playing right next to Trent Williams or Alex Mack, whoever the case may be, I know your strengths, your weaknesses, and you know mine. So we know if there's the pass rush come whatever the case may be, okay, now you need to cheat over to my side to help me or whatever the case may be. I don't think we're
Mm-hmm.
going into the season with that, but I'm going to trust this organization and I'm hoping that everything is panned as is going as planned and that they keep Trey upright. That's the most important thing. He stays upright, it's going to be a scary team. So
Facts.
I was kind of shocked today when I saw that Spencer Burford had the nod at right guard today. That was kind of a shocker to me. I didn't see that happening at all.
Nah,
But
you know
yeah,
what
huh?
happened?
What's that?
And see here, this is where I take a downward spiral. Kyle, in his presser with John Lynch, said the one thing that I didn't need him to say. He had my day on a high, and then he just completely shot it straight in the ground when he said these words. Yeah, we're gonna try Dan out at center. He's done it before, and we'd like to see it. I'm like, you forgot 2020? Daniel Brunskill was ass at center. He's not that great of a right guard. I'm sorry, people. He truthfully isn't. He's all we got, so we got to roll with him. The only thing Daniel Brunskill does good is stop Aaron Donald. That is the only thing that I know that he does great. So I don't want you messing up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, Kyle. Just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like Jake Brindle and Trey Lance have a great rapport. It's been built. Why not leave that alone? You're going to give Brunskill shots at that, and I don't know why. Why would you do Brindle like that in the first place? I've been playing this position the whole time in OTAs. You ain't never moved me. You gave Brunskill the whole OTAs off because his knee tendonitis. So why are you going to give him a shot at my spot that I earned, that I've been playing this whole offseason, and now I take a backseat to a dude with knee tendonitis? Really?
Yeah.
If that was me, I'd be pissed.
Oh, most def.
Yeah.
Most
You know what I'm
definitely.
saying? I honestly would look at Kyle and be like, look, man, I know this your team, you run things, but I'm just wondering the fuck
Yeah.
is going on.
No, I totally agree with you. I was disappointed that I saw that Brad Graham had posted that to saying that he was getting snaps at center. I'm like, man, why not just give that to Donovan West or something? You know what I'm saying? Give it to somebody who could be the future at center, who's actually played center effectively at Arizona State for years. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Him playing the center position, like you said, 2020, he was horrendous at center. He was terrible. So I don't want him ever to see him back at center. But, before we go to Miriah, I just want to say everything you said, Dion, was on point. I think the last thing to fall, last domino to fall is to get Jimmy off this team. They announced that Trey's a starter. They got rid of D Ford, and I hate that it had to happen this way. I wish that when he traded for him, he would have stayed healthy. Obviously, it didn't happen that way. To say that, I saw that something that he played 7 games in the last 2 years. Like, that's just ridiculous. He was out there stealing money. So it
Yeah,
comes a
I
point in
mean,
time where you have to just let it go. And I'm glad that they finally said, you know what, he's off. So now, there's extra players on this team like the Terans. I hires them, be getting them extra reps that they need to. So
yeah.
yeah. So as soon as I know it's only the first day and stuff is, just getting under motion. But yeah, I'm excited for this team. I haven't been excited for this 49ers team since the 2011 team when we went to the Super Bowl. Like that right there. I mean, at first, at 2019, I was kind of suspect because Jimmy coming off the injury, I didn't know how I was going to do. Obviously, after 6-7 games, I was excited. But going into a season when we had Cowboy and Patrick Willis and all that, I was so excited after we lost that Super Bowl against Baltimore, thinking we're going to have our run. But yeah, I'm so excited. We filled up a lot of holes. Offensive line's really the only thing I'm kind of worried about. But other than that, I'm excited about this team.
And I agree, man. Before we go to you, Miriah, we're going to just read this comment. If we win the Super Bowl this year, I'll shut down Twitter. I'll be the most hated bitch on the planet with my receipt. You know what, Peachy? It's all good because I'll be right there with you. They're going to be putting me in Twitter jail and everything because I'm coming at everybody. I'm adding so many people because we all have receipts as 49er content creators because we saw how you doubted our QB. And when he goes out there and he breaks this league off, it's going to be a problem. I don't see us going less than 12-5 or 13-4 at a bare minimum, just with the squad that we have. And as long as the O-line gels properly, we're going to be fine. You know what I'm saying? But Miriah, talk to us. How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you. The off season was exhausting, to say the least. And I feel like ever since, we've drafted Trey, it's been exhausting to be a 49ers fan. Just the hate, the fighting back and forth, just like, it's so glad that that's all going to be over now, that we don't have to deal with that anymore and we can just get back to football. To hear Kyle finally come out and say, this is Trey's team, like, I never thought I'd be so happy to hear somebody say some words that wasn't my wife or my family or, like a complete stranger, like to say, this is Trey's team. And I was jumping up and down. My wife's like, what the hell is going on with you? And I'm like, finally, like, you don't know how long we've been waiting for this. So it's like so refreshing now. And like you said, now we just need him off the team. I don't care. Cut him, trade him, do what you got to do. Just get him the hell out of here.
Everybody feels that way, man. There's people out here talking about selling for a Subway sandwich.
And I'm the same with you. Like, as soon as I hear that, like, he's gone, like, I so just want to go live, like, popping bottles. It's time to party once guys off our freaking team.
Yeah, that's going to be that one moment where my wife is looking at me like, why are you so happy, babe? Look, let me tell you, I got the best news. Look, I'll be just as happy as she was when they let Tony Romo go because she's a Cowboys fan. And she hated Tony Romo, and I always tell people I'm married to a normal Cowboys fan. My wife isn't delusional. She would tell you the truth of the team and she'll look at it and go, yeah. And the crazy thing, speaking of them, the only thing really holding them back is Jerry. It was the same thing with Al Davis, God love him. But he drafted everybody. Anybody who ran a 4-2, he was going to draft you. Didn't matter what position you played. You could have been a kicker running the 4-2. You were going first round. So it's all the thing, you know what I'm saying? So, no, I'm going to answer this real quick. Corey Davis, do you guys think no, because we're not freeing up any money, really. We still have to pay D4. Like, he's getting paid this year and next year. And I believe it's around 14 to 15 million because of the injury guarantee in his contract. And that's the problem. See, Parag typically structures these contracts properly, so we wind up having outs. But he didn't structure this one properly. I don't know what he was thinking, but he lost his touch with this contract, so we got screwed on that one, man. No, this is not the way to free up money for a Deebo Samuel extension is to get rid of who, because that money comes to us right now, and it can be used this year. The thing about it is, I honestly think Deebo will get done. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we might as well go on ahead and jump into that. I really want to make sure that Deebo gets done and that he actually gets taken care of properly because I know a lot of people. I was in the spaces earlier, and I was explaining my reasoning for why I feel that he needs to be on the field is just to build the rapport with Trey Lance. And they were like, "Well, he threw half his touchdown to Debo. I don't think that's a problem." It's like I understand what everyone is saying, and I respect opinions. Here's my rebuttal to that: if I'm playing football with you, I need to know your tendencies. I need to know what you do. I need to know how you are in and out of breaks, how you run specific routes. You know what that does for me? It gives me an opportunity to be able to throw the ball at the right time. I know what you look like when you go run a comeback. I know what you look like when you run a hitch. I know when you break when you run a post route. I know what happens when you run a dig. All these things come into play, and that continuity that I build with you is paramount to what you need. Like, you have to have that. You cannot just it doesn't just manifest itself. It has to really be done through practice. And Ayuk, Ray, Jawan, these three dudes were there with Trey Lance. Debo was doing his own thing. Not to say he wasn't staying in shape, and I'm not casting any aspersions on him. I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just saying that that's what I feel like should be done. The team needs to get this deal done quick, because I would love for them to have that rapport, because other than that, what's going to happen? If you think about it, if you're a quarterback and you have a rapport built with a specific receiver and you get into trouble, you're not looking for Debo. You're looking for Ayuk. Why? Because that's your little milk dud, as he so affectionately called him. So those are things that you have to remember. So what do you guys think as far as that is concerned? Like just building that continuity, because you were talking about that earlier, Teran, with the offensive line, and now we're going to need that with Debo.
Yeah, I mean that's some excellent points there, and it's comical when I hear people say that. Well, it's Debo. It doesn't matter. Like Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers weren't special together because Devontae Adams was holding out or not there, whatever, or Aaron Rodgers holding out. Like they were there every camp, ruling that rapport. Like Aaron Rodgers could probably hike the ball and count to three with his eyes closed and know where to throw the ball to because that rapport was there. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I agree. Like, and you're right. As soon as Trey's in trouble, he's not going to be looking for Debo. He's going to be looking probably for Kittle or somebody up underneath route something. Or where's Ayuk? Because I know where he's at. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Like that rapport has to be there, especially because he's so called our number one receiver on this team. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. You're right. I think a deal is going to get done. I say probably somewhere around preseason week 1 or 2. I just don't see. I mean, everybody keeps thinking it's going to happen before the weekend is up. I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but everybody keeps thinking it's going to be in the next couple of days. But I don't know, man. Somebody mentioned on Spaces earlier that um, I think it was Debo went up to well, no, Trey went up to Debo on the sidelines and gave him a hug and said something to him or something like that. Like, pretty much like indicating like, hey, everything's gonna be in place like it's supposed to be. So I don't know, man. Um I know same thing happened with Kittle, same thing happened with Fred Warner. This organization has kind of like a history of when they sign guys. It's usually not early. It's usually not when they want to get signed. They usually sign them when they're ready to. Like Fred Warner, like I think Fred Warner was August and all this other stuff. So yeah, it's gonna get done. He ain't going nowhere. Um, like you said, the thing with Debo on the contract, if we cut number 10 now, obviously we have all this money. But if it's lingering and, this and that, and we're getting close and close to, week 1 and he's still on this team before, they let him go, they can always sign him to an extension and put the first year of this year, just put it in incentives or like a signing bonus. So it's not counted towards the salary cap. You know what I'm saying? Like they can just say, hey, we're going to give you 30 million this year as a signing bonus plus your 4.6 million that you're making as a second round pick or whatever the case may be. Then your money will kick in for salary coming 2023. So a deal still can get done, but I don't know how they're going to do this. He's going to have to work his magic because we can't have this going on for the young quarterback. It's not like, we have like a Matthew Stafford or Tom Brady, what I'm saying, out there, quarterback. We have a young quarterback who needs to grow with his wide receivers. So I hope this gets done sooner than later. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree. I think that's why I've been so high on, not only am I a huge Ayuk fan, but the fact that he did so much, this offseason to stay back and work with Trey Lance. And we just heard from Debo, oh, if you want to come work out with me, you need to come to Florida. That whole thing, I didn't like, because they need to build that chemistry. I don't give a shit if you're the best wide receiver out there. Debo's not, as much as that wants to hurt all your guys' feelings, he's not. He needs to still work. He needs to still get in that work with a quarterback that he hasn't really worked with. And yeah, I think he needs to get signed sooner than later. I do feel a lot more confident after listening to what Shanahan said about it, and, John Lynch kind of, that it does get done sooner. And, not just for the relationship between him and Trey, but Debo needs to be out there on the field working with those young wide receivers on the team as well. I understand that, Brandon Ayuk stepped up into that position, but it can't help to have another, skilled wide receiver out there teaching these young guys. So I think all around, it does nothing but help this team to get Debo on that field as soon as possible.
Yeah, I completely understand that. So sliding over here, our offensive line, as we were speaking in reference to a little earlier, our offensive line today was Colton McKivitz, Aaron Banks, Jake Brindle, Spencer Burford, and I believe McGlinchey was there, but they had Justin School playing right tackle or someone else. I can't remember who. But when you look at today, everybody that's watching, take today with a grain of salt. It's 7-on-7s. Ain't got no pads on. All they have is helmets. You know what I'm saying? We're not running full squad reps. What I can tell you is what I heard, and even though I don't care to watch him as much anymore since his incident, I did hear from Grant Cohn. He is there. He is one of the people that's actually at camp. So, you kind of got to take what he says. So did hear that, Lance had a pretty good day, 9 of 11, 1 interception, and that was Sam Womack. They said Sam Womack one-handed that joint, so I can appreciate that. But the cool thing is that, right now you're just kind of plugging and playing to see what you'll get, and I like that because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that these dudes get as much reps as they possibly can. I know it's not a lot to take away because, once again, the pads aren't on and you're not really hitting. But still, either way, it's a beautiful thing when you can get out there and kind of see what continuity is built with your team. Once again, I do not like the shuffling of the center. I would just prefer him to let Jake Brindle do his thing and keep on pushing. Ward, I heard the DBs were on fire today. But let's stick with the offensive line. I project the offensive line to be this. I project it to strictly be Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, Jake Brindle, and Daniel Brunskill and Mike McGlinchey. That's what I project. And if you heard the beeping, sorry, that's my old air fryer, man. I just got that joint. I'm trying to figure out how to work it and, mess with it, But definitely talk to us. Let us know how you feel about the O-line. We'll start with Miriah.
Yeah, I was happy to hear that Burford was in there getting some work done. I did hear that Mike McGlinchey did start out as the starter, but then he was swapped out because obviously they're not letting him take on full reps. So it's good that Mike was actually in there getting some, some real football drills done to see at least how that injury holds up, see how he feels tomorrow and, throughout the week after getting some work. I feel the same way about, the whole center position. I don't know. I feel like we're all of a sudden want people to start on the offensive line that we didn't even want on this team prior till now. And it's they were a bum before. They're not going to all of a sudden come in and be great now, So I'd much rather get these young guys in there and get them work, the rookies, the second-year guys, instead of guys that we know already aren't very good, So, as long as – so I'm happy that the youngins getting in there, getting work, and we'll see how it goes throughout.
All right, there.
No, some good points. Hey Dion, just to tell you real quick, and I thought the same thing. So I was watching Grant's show with Jesse before I came on here, and somebody asked Grant, like, "Oh, is it true that Trey Lance threw an interception?" He said, "No, he didn't." He
Yeah, they
said
said
that
that was
he
Shanahan.
said he said Kyle Shanahan was doing drills with the DBs, and Tariq Castro Fields
Oh.
picked him off. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
the rumor
so
was
yeah,
going around that it
so
was
yeah, it was
Trey,
a
but yeah, it
rumor saying
wasn't.
that he threw. Yeah, no, he went 9 for 11 with 2 incompletions, but there was no interception. So that's good to hear. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Kyle threw the interception, so that was funny.
Okay.
So
Look, they trying to put it on Lance too.
yeah,
Yeah.
try to put it on Lance.
Kyle out
Yeah,
there because
yeah,
he be liking to throw. He
he
does.
does.
He
He
likes
has a
to get
pretty good
out
arm
there and
too.
throw. I'm telling
Before
you,
Yeah.
Kyle
Kyle,
could
man.
get out there and show up Jimmy, now he can't get out there
Hey,
and show up Trey.
Yeah,
hey,
I'm
I
with
don't
you
care what
guys.
nobody.
Yeah,
Just I'm gonna let you get right back into
yeah,
it,
yeah.
Teran. But you know the craziest thing, you're starting to see Kyle really not like any more questions about 10. Like you start to see the aggravation. Like what else? What do I need to do? I need to walk up and kiss Trey Lance in the mouth or something? What do you want? I just told y'all yesterday? He's the man. What else do I need to tell you? Like people are really like aggravating him, man. It's crazy that happens. But by all means, man. Oh look, yes, Denise.
Denise is
Kyle
commenting.
did
Yeah.
make my dream come true, and the rest of my dream will be completed when I get a notification comes across my phone that says he's either been traded or cut. At that point, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm dropping everything, and I will immediately celebrate. You will
Oh,
see me go live. Everyone will be like, Dion drunk. He lit right now.
Dion's gonna be leaving his job, walking out on his job and shit. I gotta
Right.
go.
Somebody gonna try to call me on it. Look, man, I'm telling you right now. Okay, I'm really happy. So whatever you need, don't worry about it. You can have it. Click. Just celebration mode. Just to, and the beauty of it is like when you see him answer those questions, what does he do? He tells you like, hey, he's gone. I don't know when he gone, but he gone. He's been cleared. And then they asked if he was going to be, practicing with the team. And he basically came back to it. He was like, well, yeah, we already told him he can do his own thing if he wants to. And that seems like what he wants to do. So don't bother me either way. And I'm like, the only thing I will say is, Kyle, you need to stop capping. Nate Sudfeld is nowhere near as fast as Trey Lance. Slow your roll here, buddy. Slow your roll. He tried to say yesterday at that press conference, he said, don't doubt Nate Sudfeld, because they asked him a question about the offense being structured for a running quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So he answered by stating, I don't see Trey Lance as a running quarterback. I see him being a full-on, 120% in the pocket guy who has the ability to run. And then they were asking him about like some of the fastest quarterbacks, and he said, well, don't doubt Nate Sudfeld. He's pretty quick. And I'm like, come on, bro. Ain't nobody expecting Nate Sudfeld to do nothing in the run game.
Not at all. No.
That we expect Nate Sudfeld to run just as much as we expected 10 to run. And see, we don't want him running. You know why? Because he might pull the same shit 10 did, tear ACL.
Yeah.
But my bad, bro.
No, you're good. Yeah, that's funny. Talking about don't sleep on Nate Sudfeld's speed. Like my grandma said. I was born at night, not last night.
Not last night.
Come on, man. Come on, bro. Yeah, I have the same concerns with you guys for the offensive line. Here's my issue. I want to ask you guys a question because I'm okay. I understand they need to try some people out and see who's the best fit and stuff like that. But I feel like I used to coach. I used to coach football. I was a coach for junior high, and I can see talent and know who's starting pretty much right away. You know what I'm saying? You get the pads on, and these dudes are professional, so they're professional scouts, so they can see like, okay, I see this dude. I know pads ain't came on yet, so that's different. But my concern is them playing musical chairs with these offensive linemen through training camp. Like, I think you need to find your starters and put them in there and get that rapport with Trey Lance so they know what they're doing together. Because it's cool. Like I said, if they want to put Spencer Burford in one day, then Jalen Moore another day, it has to come a point in time where you say, okay, these are our starters for when we have preseason game one. If week one were to start, this is who I'm putting out there. Have them dudes go out there and play together because, like I said, 3 new offensive linemen is going to be tough, but I agree with you, Dion. It might only be 2 with Jake Brendel and Aaron Banks because I think the same thing. If they're healthy, it's McGlinchey, Brunskill, Brendel, Banks, and Trent Williams. I think that's what it's ultimately going to be just because of them being veterans, just and the fact that Kyle trusts them a little bit. He knows what they can do. But, I just hope it comes to a point in time where, like, they're not like, okay, Colton McKivitz, your turn all day, and then then it's your turn. That's your turn. All of a sudden, you have all this mix up of offensive linemen, and Trey's not getting no rapport. And as an offensive lineman, they need to be able to talk to each other too to understand what's going on. So hopefully that gets cleaned up, sooner than later, because that needs to happen ASAP. Because like me and Miriah always say, like, and I hate to say this because it sounds like we're not talking about a person, but your investment is Trey Lance. You know what I'm saying? You put your stock in that man. You need to keep him upright as soon as possible. It bothers me that, you got this young quarterback coming in, yet you give him a worse offensive line than you did your 8-year veteran. You know what I'm saying? That bothers me because now you have Lake and Tomlinson to step in for. Now you know what I'm saying? Like, that, and that's big shoes to fill for Aaron Banks. So yeah, I just hope that this offensive line gets that continuity sooner than later. I hope that during the mini camps, OTAs, that that the offensive line coach, I forgot his name off the top of my head, that he actually sees what's going on. He says, okay, I kind of have an idea of who is going to be my starting offensive line. What do you guys think about that?
Go right ahead, Miriah.
Yeah, I agree. I do think though, like, this first couple weeks we are going to see it moved around a lot because from what Kyle says, it doesn't sound like he's too sure about who's going to be starting across that line. So this is the time that they need to get in there and show, it's the competition season for a reason, So I definitely think we're going to see some movement around that line for these first couple of weeks. But yeah, once they find who they're feeling, who's leading that race at the time, put those guys in and try to get some gelling going on and see if it works. Because yeah, we need them all on the same page definitely. About protecting Jimmy more than you protect Trey. And you would think, after we saw, the biggest reason they say they went and got somebody to replace Jimmy was because of the injuries, because Jimmy couldn't stay on the field. So wouldn't you want to protect then this guy more than you protected your last quarterback if that was the issue before? Like, why are we going to go into this all of a sudden? It doesn't matter. We don't need a vet at center yet. We needed a vet at center all the rest of this time. But now all of a sudden we don't. Now all of a sudden we don't need vets here. Just throw in this guy, throw in that guy. Oh, we're not sure who we're rolling with, but yeah, we'll figure it out. It's like, okay, well, doesn't sound like you guys are too concerned about protecting him.
I agree with you. The shuffling of the offensive line definitely does bring a little cause for pause as far as that is concerned. What's going on, Cinnamon? It definitely, to me, I think that they're doing it because they're trying to figure out who they're going to keep rather than what the starting line is. I think that Kyle and Chris Forrester have come together. They already know who they want as far as their starters. But I think what they're doing is they're with the second team and all that other stuff. I think they're saying, okay, you know what? Let me just double check and see if we can plug so-and-so in here. Let's see how he works. Okay, let's put him here and see how he works. So I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to play around with that probably maybe through the first week of training camp. And then as time goes on, they're going to just bring everybody together and let them gel properly. And it wasn't Justin School at right tackle. It was Jalen Moore at right tackle because Spencer Burford was playing right guard. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely agree with you, man. That definitely is definitely a little alarming because you want to be sure on who your offensive line is. Like there's certain positions you can kind of plug and play and you don't have to really stress it too much. But offensive line is way too intricate and it's way too valuable for us to be shuffling dudes around, like musical chairs or like, with the ball under the cup. It's like, oh, okay, you're here. Nope, you're here. Oh, you're there. Oh, you're there. So I completely understand that. So I was looking at this article for Niners Nation. Seems like Eric Armstead and Kevin Givens are wreaking havoc out there. Also seems as if Brandon Ayuk is wide receiver number 1, as I alluded to earlier. So this is what I want to do with you guys, if you're okay with it. I want us to name the starters as far as like the whole squad outside of special teams, because I mean it's special teams, and sorry, it's no disrespect to special teams, but I don't really know how to feel about that. Can't really I necessarily ask you to say, hey, who's special teams? So Teran, we'll go in groups.
Okay.
Teran, give me our wide receivers. Who makes the squad? Because we've got 11, if I'm not mistaken. We have 11.
We have 11 or 12 under contract.
11 or 12, and we only gonna keep about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So who makes the squad at wide receiver?
I think the top 5 are pretty easy. Yeah, you got Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Danny Gray, and Ray McLeod. Those are the 5 that are going to make it for sure. 6 is kind of tough. You got Malik Turner. You got all these guys coming in, but I ultimately think that the sixth person who makes it. I had a list. I can't remember who I wrote down, but I want to say it's going to be either Malik Turner or it's going to be what is the guy's name from give me one second. Who's the guy we got from the Titans or the Cowboys or wherever this came with, wherever that guy was. I think his last name is Johnson, I believe. But anyway.
Yeah, there's 2 Johnsons.
There's 2
Marcus
Johnsons. 2 Johnsons
and
yeah.
somebody Johnson. Because they were both doing punt returns today.
Yeah. I would say either Malik Turner or Marcus Johnson is going to be that 6th one. And then I think we're going to keep probably
Keyshawn Johnson. It's Keyshawn.
Yeah. There's another Johnson too. Keyshawn, the one that came from Arizona Cardinals. I don't think he makes a team, but he's good. It's funny. I know who he is because he's a Fresno State guy, and that's where I'm from. But yeah, Keyshawn Johnson. You got Marcus Johnson. Then you got there's a couple Mack. You got Tissir Mack as another one. Mm-hmm. You got Tay Martin. I just don't, and there's an Austin Mack too, who was on our practice squad last year, so he already knows the offense. Yeah. Austin Mack, remember him? So it's gonna be tough. So anyway, I think the 5 I named are going to make the team for sure, and I want to say Malik Turner probably is going to be our 6th wide receiver.
Okay. I'm honestly gonna deviate from that in just a small aspect.
Okay.
I got to go with Taysier Mack making the squad. I like Taysier Mack. Plus, he was the only 1,000-yard receiver out of all of our drafted receivers and or UDFAs that we brought in. So that's probably the only person. Taysier Mack is probably the dude I would pick to.
And he's the one from Pitt, right? He's the one from Pitt, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. I had him. I was kind of battling with him and Malik Turner for that final spot, but I do like Taysier Mack. He's the one that played with the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback.
Yeah.
And he looked good too.
Yeah. What's going on, Val? Nice to see you. First time I've ever seen you in here. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button for the channel. Appreciate you stopping by. I would say the next group up. I'm gonna keep DB for myself. I'm sorry, that's my favorite position. I cannot allow anyone else to pick that because I love that position so much. Miriah, give us our running backs.
Yeah, I'm huge on TDP, so I'm gonna go him, of course. Mitchell, Sermon. I think, I hear a lot of people running their mouths out there that Trey Sermon's going to get cut or he's not going to make the team. I definitely don't see that happening. So I would say Sermon, Mitchell, TDP. I think Mason has a great chance of making the squad.
That's our UDFA, right?
Yeah.
He's undrafted.
Jordan
heard a lot of good things about him in OTAs.
Same. Yeah.
I think that I think Kyle really likes Hasty. He seemed to trust him a lot. Could be the 3rd down back all last year for whatever reason. I would personally try to stash him on the practice squad if you can. Try to have him not take a roster spot. But yeah, I mean, if it were up to me, those are the 4 that are making it: TDP, Mason, Mitchell, and Sermon.
Okay. Thank you, Val, for the subscription. Really, really appreciate that. You know what? I'm gonna leave Mason on the outside. He's on the outside looking in. I would put him in the top of the hierarchy because the only other people left would be Mason, Wilson, and Hasty. I see Hasty on the outside looking in. I honestly think that Hasty his time has run its course. With the drafting of TDP, and I honestly believe, given the opportunity, Trey Sermon is going to make some noise. That young man has been working all off season. You know what I'm saying? And he's been quiet, just keeps his head down and grinding, so I can appreciate him just for that much. So let's see. Let me kick it back over to Teran. Defensive line.
Ooh.
that one's so deep. And they just signed Robert Kondichi. I have no idea why, because he's been a failed experiment ever since he walked into the league when Arizona drafted him. But I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. This is a tough one. Man, yeah, we have
because we know the starters.
Yeah, we have 8. Yeah, we got like 18 defensive.
We got like 50 defensive linemen.
so many. So for inside, I'm keeping. Obviously, it's going to be Kinlaw, Armstead, Hassan Ridgeway, the guy we picked up from the Eagles.
Yeah. I like Ridgeway.
He was one of our first. And he's like a DJ Jones clone.
Yeah,
like they play very similar. So
he's one I like to call a hog in the middle. You got to have a hog in the middle, believe me.
Absolutely,
a hog.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep them 3. So the fourth one, I battled with when me and Miriah did our show. I was battling with Maurice Hurst and Charles Omenihu. I'm keeping the Omenihu.
That's what I'm talking about. I was hoping you were gonna say that.
And I'm keeping
Omenihu. He gonna blow up.
I want him inside. Like I know he's to me he's like an Eric Armstead light because he can play that in, and play inside. I just feel like him being inside is probably gonna be a better fit since we have so many edge rushers right now. So I think him inside, and Kyle and John, they love their versatility. They love their versatility. So I think those 4 inside. So that's 4 on the roster already. For the edge, I'm keeping obviously Bosa, Drake Jackson. I'm gonna go Kamoko Ture.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Kerry Hyder.
And
I'm going Ebelcom.
Okay. I like your lineup. I like your lineup because you know what that tells me? Doesn't matter who's in the game, somebody's getting sacked. That's exactly what that says to me. I love it.
And so I think those are the edge rushers that we keep, and I think our draft pick Kalia Davis is going to start off on the pup because he injured himself. I think he'll be a practice squatter. So I think that's 9 I kept. I think I might be missing somebody off the top of my head, but off the top of my head, that's who I'm keeping on this team. I just think we need to keep extra Leos because somebody's going to have to stand out. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to have to stand out and do their thing. So
you're missing Drake Jackson.
No, I said him and Bosa first.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Bosa, Jackson, Ture, Hyder, and Ebelcom for sure. I think those 5. So those 5 for the edge, and then I'm keeping the other 4 for the inside. Kinlaw, Ridgeway, Armstead, and Omenihu. So
hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, that's a formidable defensive line, baby. And some of these dudes are interchangeable. You might find them in different spots. You don't know what's going to happen. So I love that, man. That is awesome.
And Dion, I know you saw during the playoffs too. There was times where they call it that NASCAR package where they move Nick Bosa inside with Armstead to get that more of a speed rush. So if they move him inside, then they have like Ture and Hyder on the edge. That's going to be nasty. That's a lot of speed coming off that line. So
yeah, man, that's a great. And the beauty of it is, I always use this analogy as like when Spagnuolo was with the Giants, the reason they won those 2 Super Bowls wasn't necessarily Eli. It was that defense. The number one thing I used to say all the time is the way you make a great quarterback trash is make him uncomfortable.
Yep.
Tom Brady was uncomfortable every time he played the damn Giants because Michael Strahan was there. Oh, no, not Michael Strahan. Justin Tuck. Oh, no, not Justin Tuck. O.C. Umenyiora. Oh, no, not him. There was like just a plethora of talent.
And then they had 4 great pass rushers because they had the dude that blew off his finger with the firework. Remember?
JPP.
Jason Pierre-Paul. They had so many. Oh, yeah, that's another one. Jordan Willis was the
one. Jordan Willis. And Miriah asked his questions. She said thoughts on he didn't hear about arm fatigue. to the lunch with BA and Trey, laughing, said arm soreness wasn't a deal. Wasn't a deal that any QB. Yeah. See, here's the thing. This is my thought on that. And it's going to be real short. No one cares. You're throwing a ball consistently, week in and week out. Do you not feel like your arms are going to get sore? You don't feel like your shoulder's going to get bothered. MLB pitchers purposely have 5-6 days in between starts because they're throwing a lot of pitches.
Yep.
If you pitch a perfect game and have no balls thrown, you will pitch 27 pitches. You know how easy that is of a day for a pitcher? There are closers that do that in one sitting. So if a starting pitcher who has the ability to go roughly about 7 innings can have arm fatigue and need 5 days off because they just threw 150 pitches, what makes you think that other quarterbacks don't do that? I guarantee you there's a bunch of quarterbacks around the league take a little time off, rest their arm. Don't want them. They don't do anything with their throwing arm. They do everything with the opposite. So that's how that works. But I like it. The next thing, Miriah. There we go. Linebackers.
There's two things. So I'm not sure, obviously, if somebody's going to get traded. I think it's a big possibility because we have so many top-end linebackers. However, if one of the top 3 guys don't get traded, obviously, we're keeping them: Fred, Aziz, Greenlaw.
Yeah, they ain't going nowhere.
If one of them happen to get traded, well, that shakes things up.
That's horrible.
And then I'm going to go Oren Burks, Flanagan Fowles, and probably either McCrary Ball or Sagon Alobi or
it's like Alobi or something.
Yeah, one of them for that last spot. But
okay, I like
the top ones. Yeah,
I feel like Burks has an end to make the squad because he's a special teams guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've heard a little bit about McCrary Ball. Olubi, I think they called him. No, that wasn't him. There's another dude, Jeremiah Gemmel.
Yeah, from North Carolina. Yeah,
they called him the General. He's a pretty hard hitter from what I saw from his film and whatnot. Definitely like that. So, we already agreed pretty much on the O-line, so I'm gonna slide over to the DBs.
Yeah. Hey, Dion, real quick. So I was watching some tape. I was watching some tape on Jeremiah again when I was telling Miriah, you know who he reminds me of, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt our hearts me saying his name because he was such a tackling machine. He reminds me of Chris Borland. Not the biggest guy, not the fastest, but his instincts and the way he was on the field, like he was at. I watched some of his things. So did I.
Yeah.
I watched him in North Carolina. I'm just like, man, this dude is everywhere. That's exactly who he reminds me of. Like he's only like 6'1", about 225, but this man is just, he knows angles. His IQ is off the chart. So if he doesn't make the 53-man, he's definitely getting on that practice squad, I believe. And he's going to be one of the ones I feel like he's protected on a weekly basis. You know what I'm saying?
I like him too, and I loved Chris Borland, and I respect him for his decision. I really do. I respect him for his decision. He did his research. He said, "I'm not doing this. I'm not taking that chance with my life." And if that's the decision that you make, good brother, I respect it all the way. I would never knock somebody for thinking about their health versus anything else. You know what I'm saying? So. The DBs, let me tell you right now, I know the starting safeties are Hufanga and Jimmy Ward. Their backups, on the other hand, I think George Odom. And provided he's healthy, probably Tarvarius Moore. I think that's what they do. Because you have that option to be able to pull both of those dudes in. If not, maybe even a Leon O'Neal Jr. could steal a spot. If Mr. Moore isn't ready from that Achilles injury, just saying. And then for our actual defensive backs, of course, we're going to keep Charvarius Ward. We just paid him a handsome ransom. Verrett's probably going to start off really slow, but he'll be around. Eman Mosley, Ambry Thomas. So that's 4. I believe we probably try to keep at least 6. Training camp is going to tell us a lot on who's going to be here and who's going to make the squad. And to be honest with you, because of the dynamics of the competition we have at all of these positions come into play, preseason is going to tell us a lot. So everyone, if you are watching, watch our preseason. If you're a 49er fan, please watch our preseason because those battles are going to mean a lot. What you do in those games is going to tell these guys, hey, live fire, I can count on this dude. Live fire, I need to cut you because you ain't going to cut it. Honestly, the last two DBs are hard. I really want Diamado Lenore to make some noise and to pull through and show up and show out. I loved when he got his interception. Went to high school with his brother, and I would really love to see the kid get out there and do something, but it looks a little scary. Doesn't look very promising. So the last two dudes, I want to probably go with Womack. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to be a homer. I'm going to go Quantrez Knight, goddammit. UCLA all the way, baby. You take Quantrez Knight. He's going to be a sleeper candidate for me for that DB spot. I believe we keep probably about 6 DBs, maybe 5 if they feel comfortable enough with the guys that we have. Stash maybe a dude or two on the practice squad, go from there. But let's just go through it. We're going to run through the whole squad real quick. So, and see if we're in sequence with the starters. So starting offensive line, we all agreed on pretty much. Starting running back, Elijah Mitchell. Starting quarterback, obviously it's Juice. Wide receivers, if signed, Debo Ayuk.
Yeah.
If not signed, Ayuk Jennings.
Yep.
At least for just our X and our Y. Interchangeable because Kyle doesn't ever have a true number one outside of when he had Julio, which that was obvious. You never put Julio at 2, he's a 1. Defensive line, I believe it's going to be Bosa, Kinlaw, Armstead, and Ebukam. Does anybody think there's someone else who's taking Ebukam's spot? That's a toss-up.
Yeah, I do actually. For some reason. And I love Ebukam. Like, he was my guy last year who I thought was going to make some noise. You know what I mean? But then, he even said that, he was a stand-up guy with the Rams, played mostly a stand-up rush linebacker. And now he's putting his hand on the ground. So him in year 2, I don't know, for some reason, Kamoko Toure, I feel like is that guy, man. I feel like Toure is gonna win that Leo spot and be opposite of Bosa.
Okay. What do you think, Miriah?
Yeah, I agree with Toure, and it'll be, I think, him and Drake Jackson once he's ready. And if it were up to me, I'm cutting or trading Sosa because we have guys that can do the job that he does and not make as much money as he makes. So
true. He's buffed as hell,
$6 million.
I was super excited for him last year, and then he just disappointed me all season. So I'm over it.
Yeah, he came on late. That was the issue. He didn't come on early. He came on late. Like toward the end of the season is when he showed up. And we didn't need him to show up at the end. We needed him to show up all season. But either way.
Yeah. What it is, Dion, too? I feel like he showed up when they finally decided to put Eric Armstead inside full time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I agree with Miriah, too, because I've been back and forth on this with Ebukam. I think he might just be a salary dump just because of what he's making. Because, I think like Hyder signed for league minimum. Toure got like $1 million. He's making 6.5 this year.
That's true.
So that's one of those things where it's like if he looks the same as Hyder and Toure, it's like, well, if you guys all look similar, but yet your salary is you double theirs, with the short end and you're gone. You're gone. So I don't know, but so
we'll see. So the DBs, obviously Ward and Mosley for the time being. If Verrett was healthy, it'd be Verrett. There'd be no question about that. The slot. That's where I am confused.
They had Womack starting there today.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be – the slot is a question mark right now, honestly. I'll look through and see what training camp brings, but that's all I have to say. The slot for me is a question mark. I really don't know Linebackers, obviously, Fred, Dre, and Aziz.
Mm-hmm.
The safeties, obviously, Hufunga and uh, Jimmy Ward. Um, so we have a really good outlook on who's going to be the starters. The question marks, honestly, are some of probably the offensive line because you want to see what they do when they shake it up throughout everything. And the other question mark is strictly nickel. Everything else, I think, really everyone knows who's starting where.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just probably are plugging and playing because they're like, we don't really need these dudes to practice that much. They know the system. Let's just figure out these other guys and see who we really like and who we want to keep. So, what do you guys think as far as a season record? I like 12-5 or 13-4. I feel like that's a good win total for us as far as for like Trey Lance's first year, because I love what Kyle said about it. He said that he wasn't going to put all the pressure on Trey to do everything. He's like, when Jimmy first got here, I give him that slack. So why would I not do that same thing for Trey? So I feel like 12-5, 13-4 is more than attainable with the current squad that we have, provided everyone stays healthy. And I think our first game of the season, we beat the brakes off of the Bears. Yeah. And I forget his name. Oh, Adam Rank. Yeah, we're going to kick your team's ass. We're going to kick their teeth in. And when we do, I'm going to at you on Twitter and go, what was up with your prediction? You were just being a homer? Because it looks like we mopped the floor with Justin Fields. Because the thing is, think about it like this. How, in any way in hell, is Justin Fields going to be able to stand up? He ain't got no O-line. His O-line is hot garbage.
Yeah, nobody to throw to.
Yeah, you just traded away Allen Robinson.
And his weapons are atrocious.
Yeah, like what? I'm sorry, who is he throwing to?
They're doing him dirty there.
Darnell Mooney and N'Keal Harry are right now locked in as his weapons. That starting.
Don't forget Pettis.
Oh, and Dante Pettis too.
Oh, they picked up.
They picked up Dante Pettis. They picked up Dante Pettis. Yep.
I'm on the field.
Yep.
Oh my God, yeah.
They picked this motherfucker up. Oh Lord, it's gonna be ridiculous. All right, so what do y'all think, man? I'm 12-5, 13-4.
Miriah, go ahead. You can go before me.
Yeah, I'm going with 12-5 as well. I think that, like you said, that should be easily obtainable if everybody stays healthy. It's not like we're the Bears. We've actually have a team around Trey Lance, so we don't need him to go out there and be Superman. 12-5.
Yeah, I lightweight feel sorry for Justin Fields, if I'm gonna be real. Like, that's just atrocious, man. They're setting that man up for so much failure. It's ugly. I'm gonna say 11-6 because I feel like we're gonna split with the Rams.
Okay,
and then I feel like we're gonna split with the AFC West. That's gonna be tough. Like, I feel like going into Denver is going to be tough. Russell Wilson is now the quarterback. We can't shake this dude, man.
We cannot shake him.
Can't shake this dude. So we got to go up to Denver. I think that's going to be a tough game. So I think they might beat us, and I think the Chargers might beat us. But I think we beat the Chiefs in Santa Clara. So I think we beat the Chiefs, and I think we beat the Raiders. So I think those three right there are going to be losses. And then I feel like, there's always some team, and then we still got Tampa Bay, which can go either way. So I just feel like, there's probably going to be some games that we're supposed to win and we don't. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like how we did with the Colts last year. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just say I feel like our ceiling is probably 13-4, but I think our floor will probably be like 11-6. That's what I think. But I think 11-6 to me seems more fair, if that makes sense.
I can appreciate that because you take a lot of weight off of Trey Lance's shoulders with the lower amount of wins, and at the same time, it's just you see how the team shakes out throughout the season. Not a lot of turnover from last year, so to speak, but on the offensive line, we lost Laken Tomlinson. We are not sure
Alex Mack.
Yeah, we're not sure when McGlinchey will be ready, Alex Mack. So that's definitely some big question marks. And that is a very, very serious question mark when it comes to that, because you want that to be the most solidified part of your team. I've always felt like you build from the inside out. I feel like if you're starting a team and you're a new GM, the first thing you need to do is take a look at the O-line and say, hey, is this O-line solid enough for me to put somebody back there to be able to throw the ball and I feel comfortable enough? If you don't, then you need to that's where you go first. I feel like if you try to, start and build on the opposite side of the ball, you could have a dominating defense but a trash offense, and sometimes that's not always going to help you win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, man, I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me today. We will do this more often throughout the season as time continually progresses. What I'm saying? We'll continue to check in with each other. We always keeping up with each other as far as that's concerned. But y'all let everybody know exactly where they can find you guys and all of the social media, everything.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I don't do a lot of social media. I'm only on Twitter. And my Twitter handle is on my screen. It's TL49erMagic_23. And everybody always asks me, what does the Magic stand for? If you know me, I'm an Orlando Magic fan. So that's where the Magic comes from. 49ers fan and Orlando Magic fan. So
He's Magic Mike.
No. I ain't got the body to be Magic Mike. And then on my podcast, you can join me and Miriah on 49 Faithfullee podcast. We try to do a show at least once a week. Our days kind of vary depending on our work schedules, and we usually try to do a Saturday show when possible. During the season, we're going to try to do some live shows too, like right after the game. So so we can do that. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate you having me on. And before I let Miriah go, I think you're right, Dion. I think the question marks to me, you say the nickel corner. For nickel corner, I feel like it's a good problem to have because, like you said, if Jason Verrett is healthy, if Jason Verrett, because right now he's on PUP, but if he's healthy, if we have our starting corners, and me and Miriah were talking the other day, a nickel corner is not like a bench player no more. Like they're on the field 80% of the time now because it's a passing league. If we have Charvarius Ward, Jason Verrett, and Emmanuel Mosley as our corners, I'm comfortable.
Ooh.
I'm comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And then
I'm crazy comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm comfortable.
So
then if our dime is Ambry Thomas, I mean, I'm good. If Ambry Thomas has to cover the fourth wide receiver on that team, I'm good. So
as long as they're not a speedster, because he ain't got yeah, Danny Gray was cooking his ass today. Yeah. So I heard Danny Gray was giving him the business.
Danny Gray. So I think I'm with you. I think to me the keys for our success are that offensive line, obviously, but I really feel like if Kinlaw is healthy, that defensive line is going to eat. If he can just give me 12 games. You give me 12 games, and you can eat up 2 blockers and stop the run. Because we already know what Nick Bosa gonna do. He gonna do his thing. Anybody on that Leo can just step up
while being held all fucking season.
Yeah. So here's the thing: if Kinlaw is taking on 2 blockers, and Nick Bosa is taking on 2 blockers at some time, that means the Leo got single coverage. You should be able to dominate whoever's blocking you. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you got Eric Armstead inside as well. So our D-line should be eating this year. I'm really hoping on Kinlaw and his progression and him being healthy. And if that offensive line can do what they do, we're good. So,
yeah. I didn't hear that, Val, that Mosley was struggling today.
No.
Yeah, I heard there was 2 passes against him, and he had 2 pass breakups.
Correct.
Yeah, I heard he did. I heard he did fairly well. So I did not hear that, but I like those sentiments, TL. I love those sentiments, man. That's the thing I dream of. If I could have Jason Verrett and Charvarius Ward, and here's the thing: they did say that Juwan Jennings was struggling against Ward. Mm-hmm. The thing about that is he's supposed to. Yeah. Ward should be giving everybody fits.
Yes.
If Ayuk is there, he should be giving Ayuk fits. If Debo is there, he should be giving him fits too. Why? Because you paid him way too much money to be the number 1 DB for him to just be getting broke off by people who
third string wide receiver or whatever.
Third string wide receiver, technically speaking. It's no disrespect to Juwan because I love him. I call him Juwan motherfucking Jennings.
Yeah, I
nicknamed him that because he's a dog.
Yes.
He's giving you face. I don't care what nobody says. I think who was that? Was it the Eagles or was it Jacksonville?
Dude,
He pissed
Jacksonville was
that dude
clapping,
off?
and he was clapping
Yeah,
when
he
he was getting
pissed
on the
that
field.
dude
Yeah.
off. That type of mentality says that you know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
Because if I can get you off kilter to a point where you ready to throw a punch or you ready to fight me, and I stand like this isn't high school where I'm still going to get suspended.
Yeah.
If my hands are up and I'm not doing anything, the first thing they do is look at you and go, "Hey man, why were you attacking that defenseless person?"
Yep.
But either way,
Juwan just laughed, and dude got tossed. You know what the first thing Kyle did when Juwan Jennings, he went to Juwan Jennings and patted him on his helmet like, "Man, good job." Yep.
Yeah.
And you know about that too, before, I finish up with my info, is that, remember coming out of college, the big concern about Jennings was his attitude, his, could he control his temper and all this, And so it was so refreshing to see that he could be out there causing that trouble to the opposite team while keeping himself in check at the same time. Like he knew, okay, I did what I needed to do. Now let me get out of it before I get myself into trouble, And
Fantastic.
I just feel like before, he probably matured a lot now. I feel like before he probably would have maybe not backed away so easily and probably got himself into a little bit of trouble there. So it's nice to see that he's matured and like he knows exactly what kind of game he's playing out there. And then, I'm pretty much only on Twitter as well. I do have other social media accounts, but I never go on there. So you can send me a friend request and it'll be sitting there for 6 months. So you can find me on Twitter, Miriah49Lee. And like TL said, on YouTube and wherever you get all your podcasts, 49 Faithfullee Pod. And I appreciate you for having us on. Anytime you want us here, we'll be here. I appreciate the chat, all you guys hanging out with us. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe.
Yes, definitely. And hit the like and subscribe button for them as well. They're putting out great content. And believe me, to tell you the truth out there, everybody watching, there are so many 49er content creators. Like, I feel like we literally have the most content creators of any team.
We have to.
I don't think there is any other team in the league that has as many content creators as us. And if they do, honestly think that they do, believe me, the list just don't stop. I could just go on for days. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We have so many people. We got heavy hitters and all of that. But thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you for stopping by and taking time out of your day to hear about some 49er football. We will continue to bring you more and more throughout the season as the season continually progresses, as training camp progresses. And if there's any breaking news, I will definitely be going live to drop that breaking news and be able to let you guys know what is going on. As far as that, I didn't break the news on the D4 thing because I already knew we were doing a show. So it was like, I'm not going to do that. I might as well just do it while we're doing the show. So happy the D4 is finally out of here. Congrats to that man. I did see CG put in that we only owe him about like $5.68 million over the next couple of years. So if that's the case, that is way better than the $14.5 million I thought we were going to owe him. I'll take that any day. Get that man a couple of bucks. But we're still paying a lot of people. If you go on Spot Rack and look up our dead cap, oh, Jesus Christ. It is horrendous. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Stay faithful. Stay blessed. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. And we are out.
All right, chat.